Welcome back to the Andrew and Ian Show. I'm Andrew Serwick here again with Ian. Hi, Ian. Um, Another week, another Thursday, another preview. How you doing this evening, man?
Doing pretty good. It's not a shitty Thursday night football game for once. Excited about that, but ready to get this going.
Yeah. So about that, real quick, I just have a problem with one. I just don't like Thursday night football in general. I just think, I mean, the players hate it. Um, but also having rivalries, division rivalries on Thursday night, not a big fan of that either. Put those in like the good slots, not on Thursday night when one team is coming off a short week. It's just not fair. But anyways, before we get into some football tonight, there's just one thing I want to talk about tonight, and that is Connor McDavid. Has a chance tonight, and the game starts in a few minutes here. He has a chance to score his 1,000th point tonight in the NHL, and if he does so within, I think, the next like 5 games, I believe is his window to score 1 point, which we know how good Connor McDavid is. He's going to do that within 5 games. He will be the fastest player to ever score 1,000 points in the NHL. He has 635, I believe, right now, games played in the NHL, and 999 points. So history could be made tonight with Connor McDavid. Your general thoughts on that?
I mean, the stats speak for themselves, man. I mean, he's arguably the greatest talent and pure point producer we've seen since Wayne Gretzky. I mean, obviously Alex Ovechkin is looking at breaking the goal record here soon, but that's why I said he's point producer, not just a goal scorer, because Connor McDavid is 100-point scorer, almost consistently, and that's crazy to say in this day and age. But he's getting there with the playoffs now. I believe they made it to the cup recently, or he's getting on the brink of it. It's a team thing for that, and he's one of the best players I think I've witnessed in my life. And it's like I said, the stats speak for themselves.
Yeah, I was way off. He's got 658 games under his belt with 999 points. He's well over a point per game player, and he has been really his entire career. I don't think he's really had a season where he was under a point per game. Yeah, no, he's never played a season where he's under a point per game.
Even the lockout season?
He, well,
Or the
his
COVID
his
season?
his rookie season, uh, his rookie season played 45 games. He put up 48 points in his rookie season. Um,
That is a point.
and
Over a
then
point per game.
the next two seasons, he had 82 games, 100 points and 108 points. Then 116, 97 in 2020 he had 97 points in 64 games, which was that was a ridiculous year. That was the COVID
Yeah,
year as
that's
well.
that's the COVID year, and he's averaged well over a point per
And
game.
then
So again,
and then the true COVID year 2020 2021 where they all played 56 games, 105 points. Uh, Damn near 2 points per game
that's
for him.
absurd.
Right. Um, let's see. Yeah, 80, 123, 82, 153, 76, 132, and then right now he's at 17 points in 13 games this year. So he's I mean he's going to be the fastest player to ever hit 1,000 points. And again, like you said too, the greatest player that we have seen play. I mean, granted, we were kind of spoiled to be able to, at least in our youth, be able to still watch Iserman and Lidstrom, but none of them really truly do compare, I think, to what McDavid has done in the NHL.
Oh yeah, not at all. And I mean, you could take Zetterberg, Datsuk, Lidstrom, and Yzerman, and all of those Hall of Fame talents we've had and we've witnessed on the Red Wings. And granted, some of them career wise, at least point wise, they won't compare to McDavid. But he's going to be right up there with them in the Hall of Fame at some point, you know?
Yeah, and I think with the at the rate McDavid is scoring points, he damn well could pass Yager for points, but he's got a long way to go for that. But
That's an
um,
achievement in and of itself because
right,
Yager played
he
years.
played he played he played damn near 3 decades in the league. So I mean, uh, yeah, it's incredible. But is he gonna pass Gretzky? Probably not. He's starting to get a little bit older, but he's not slowing down. That's for damn sure. So, anyways, let's get into some football now. We got Thursday night football. Obviously, we got the Eagles hosting the Commanders. We're just getting back into the third quarter here. It is 7-3 Commanders as we speak. Philly came into this game as a 4.5 point favorite. That said, I did come into this. Well, originally when I did my pick'ems for a pick'em league that I'm in, the line opened at 3.5 in favor of Philly, and I picked Philly. But having seen that line move earlier today, I was like, well, my picks are already in, so I'm not gonna fucking change it now. I am gonna take Washington in this game. I think, while the Washington's defense is pitiful, and Lattimore's still not playing due to his injury, um, it could be a closer game than expected. But this Washington offense is so fucking good, and Philly's defense has kind of been lacking. Although, I mean, they did have a couple blowout wins, especially this past weekend in Dallas. But Dallas obviously playing with a backup quarterback that's not going to net you anything in this league, obviously. But I like Washington in this game. It's on the road, um, in Philly, and you're fighting for your division title right now. You win this game, you pretty much lock up your division if you're Washington.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, Philly might be the favorite in this game, but I really like Washington. Their offense is one of the best in the league. They're one of the highest scoring offenses in the league right now with a rookie quarterback. And Philly's defense has not been playing the best as of late. And we've seen them play close games with teams that they probably should beat more handily. I mean, we almost saw them lose to the Giants, right? We almost saw them lose some games earlier. And they're 7-2, and Washington is 7-3. So this is not only just, NFC East seeding, this is NFC overall seeding because right now these two teams are chasing the Lions. So Philly, you only have one loss more than the Lions. You want to win this game because you want to keep pace with them because they just won a game that they had no rights winning in Houston. So they're still there at 8-1 now. You got to see the Lions drop a game, and that's not looking very likely in the coming weeks. So you got to get the wins your own way, and I'm going to go with Washington to win this one. I don't think Philly's defense is going to be able to withstand the Washington offense.
Well, the way this first half went, both these teams with defenses that aren't playing too well are playing pretty damn well so far. I mean, 10 points between the two teams in the first half is kind of not what you expected. Speaking of the Lions, they host the Jags on Sunday afternoon. The Lions, a 14-point favorite in this game. Now, the Lions obviously coming off of one of the best wins I've ever witnessed in my life. And as a Lions fan, I mean, that was just an emotional roller coaster the entire fucking game. Going from yeah, we're gonna win this game to we might not win this game to fuck, we're just fucked at halftime, and then back to like we're in this game. We just fucking won this game. Fuck yeah. Jacksonville though, one of the worst red zone defenses in the league, and Minnesota couldn't even score a fucking touchdown on them. Frauds. Anyways, they have a backup QB. Trevor Lawrence is out, I believe, for the rest of the year. Mac Jones will be in, so it's going to be pick city all day for the Lions. I'm taking the Lions I'm taking them to cover that 14. I don't like taking big spreads. I don't like doing that in the NFL. But the way the Lions win and how bad this Jacksonville team is, with how bad the QB situation is there as well, I just think this is going to be a blowout. And I hate doing that with the NFL. I really really do. But I got to go with it.
Yeah, normally you see a double-digit favorite in the NFL. It's like, yeah, that's a very disrespectful line either way. And in this case, no, it's not. It's just a case of the Lions are just that good, and they dominate opponents who are much lesser than they. And it hasn't been close in some of those games. I mean, look what they did to Dallas. Look at what they did to Tennessee. Tennessee had the number one defense going into the game against Detroit, and Detroit put up 50 points on them. It's just this is an NFL team putting up college numbers, and it's just like they I think it was Xavier McKinney said that the Lions are just embarrassing teams, and they might not be doing it intentionally. It's just when you have a team that is this good and this cohesive as a unit, they're gonna play ball all across the board, and I'm gonna take the Lions to win and cover that. I think they can win this one by more than just two scores easily.
Yeah, and like I said too, Jacksonville has one of the worst red zone defenses in the league. I don't believe it's the worst, but it's definitely in there in that mix. And Vikings couldn't even score a touchdown there. Tells you how good their offense really is. But yeah, I just think I hate looking at these giant spreads in the NFL and being like, yeah, they're gonna cover that, because that rarely happens. But it is what it is there. The Steelers host the Ravens. The Ravens, a 3-point favorite in this game. The Ravens come into this game with statistically the worst secondary in the NFL, and it's actually not even close. They just have nothing in that secondary. And since Russell Wilson has stepped in as quarterback, two things have happened with the Steelers offense. They can throw downfield a hell of a lot more. He fits the scheme of what Mike Tomlin wants to do with Pittsburgh, just schematically. And it's also really, really opened up the run game for Pittsburgh as well. Their run game has improved tenfold since the Steelers here. Another thing here, Lamar hasn't won in Pittsburgh since his rookie season. I'm going to take the Steelers to win this game at the Steelers +3. I just think the Steelers with an elite defense that's really good against the run, and Baltimore's offense really depends on that run game. On top of the fact that now that the Steelers' offense is actually really, really good with Russell Wilson, surprisingly, I'm just taking the Steelers to win this one. I think, all these factors just culminate to me just having a lot more faith in the Steelers right now than I do the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. This Steelers team is an elite defense combined with a resurgent offense, and that's a shocking stat that Lamar Jackson has not won in Pittsburgh since his rookie season. But at the same time, when Lamar Jackson loses to Cleveland, he finishes the season undefeated every time. That being said, this Steelers defense is legit. If they can hold Derrick Henry and Lamar to both Lamar under 200 yards passing and Derrick Henry under 100 yards rushing, that's a recipe for success right there. I think I'm gonna roll with Baltimore in this one though. I can see this one where the Steelers defense just breaks a little bit, enough for them to lose this one. But that doesn't mean that the Steelers are out of their division or anything like that. They're now tied. And I think, yeah, they have another game against the Ravens this season. So I think they are going to end up splitting, but I think the Steelers drop this one.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. This is the first divisional matchup this year for the Steelers. So that the scheduling for the Steelers this year has been really, really weird. I mean, they have basically the next 8 weeks, counting this week, and 6 of those games are against divisional opponents. So, uh, yeah, wild scheduling there, but that's the NFL for you sometimes. The Patriots host the Rams. The Rams come into this game a 4.5 point favorite, and you know me with that Devil's number. But I'm not taking the Patriots this time. I just think that the Rams, now that they're healthy, at least on the receiver end of this offense, and the offensive line doing a good enough job to keep Matt Stafford somewhat alive anyways. On top of the fact that the Rams defense is also pretty good, and this Patriots offense just kind of blows, even though Drake May has been pretty damn good. He's still young, he still makes a lot of mistakes, but he's not bad by any means. Also, this Patriots defense blows, so yeah, give me the Rams to win and cover that 4.5.
Yeah, it was shocking to see the Patriots kind of manhandle the Bears like they did last week, but Matthew Stafford is not Caleb Williams. He will not fall for some of this stuff. I think the Rams are the better team very obviously in this one, but I will take the Rams. I don't think they cover. I think the Patriots keep this one close because they are capable of playing teams and they are capable of trapping teams, but I think the Rams will win this one.
The Saints host the Browns. The Saints, a 1 point favorite in this game. This is definitely one of the candidates for Toilet Bowl of the week, and actually, I think yeah, one of the two candidates for Toilet Bowl of the week here. The Saints obviously struggling all year long, but a nice upset win last week. The Browns, they just Jameis Winston. It's Jameis Winston, and this Browns defense is not good. Neither's the Saints defense. Give me New Orleans to win and cover. It's so hard to pick a winner in this game because I have no faith in either of these teams' offenses or defenses to get the fucking job done. So I just gotta roll with the home team and just stick with that.
Yeah, you said it. This was one of the ones where I'm just like, on paper, I have more confidence in the Saints, but at the same time, I really don't. But I think for the second week in a row, I'm gonna go for a tie in this one. Like you said, I'm not really confident in either team. Like I know the Saints have Alvin Kamara, but and they did just get a win. Cleveland's defense, I think, is better than Atlanta. And at the same time, Cleveland's offense is nowhere near Atlanta's. But New Orleans, at the beginning of the year, was one of the highest scoring offenses in the league. So I feel like they could put up points, but I also feel like Cleveland is going to take advantage of some of these mistakes that New Orleans will inevitably make. Because, Derek Carr is not the solution at all. So I'm going to go for a tie in this one.
I don't mind that pick at all. The Jets host the Colts, and this is, again, the other toilet bowl candidate of the week. The Jets come into this game a 4-point favorite. Anthony Richardson announced, I believe yesterday, that he will be the starter this week and for the rest of the season, apparently. I guess Shane Steichen just had enough of Joe Flacco's shit and was like, well, we might as well fucking use our first round pick. That should have, which by the way should have stayed in college. Anyways, but yeah, he's like, yeah, I've had enough of Joe Flacco. Let's just fucking use this guy, use this first round pick, and yeah, that's all you got. But look, the Jets blow. Ever since they fired Saleh, the offense has gotten worse, and the defense has gotten worse. The Colts, their defense isn't really that good. Their offense is awful. Jonathan Taylor's the only good thing about that offense, and he's not having his greatest year. He's doing all he can, but that's about it. Anthony Richardson's the least accurate passer in NFL history, and then that's all you got, really. So this game is gonna blow. This game is gonna be some of the most unwatchable football you will ever witness in your life. I'm gonna roll with the Jets just because they're at home, but I have just no faith in them to even win this game. I'm gonna go with the Jets. They just don't cover that 4.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm taking the Jets, and they don't cover that 4. I think they win by a field goal because neither of these teams are good. But I have more confidence in Aaron Rodgers being able to outperform Anthony Richardson on the other end.
The Titans host the Vikings. The Vikings come into this one a 6-point favorite. Well, I think it's official. Sam Darnold is back down to being his normal self. He's no longer, flying high, playing like an elite level quarterback. He's been ass the last really 3 since the Lions game. He's just been ass. Titans still have a good defense, and the Vikings struggled against a really really bad defense when it comes to the red zone last week against the Jaguars. Problem is that Titans can't fucking move the ball either. Their offense blows, but they can still put up some points. I'm gonna take Minnesota to win. They're not going to cover that 6. I think Minnesota's going to struggle scoring against this Titans defense, just like they were against a bad Jacksonville defense last week.
See, I'm gonna take Minnesota, and I think they cover that 6. I think they only cover it by a point. I think they win this one by a touchdown because, like you said, this Titans team isn't capable of really moving the ball all that much, but their defense is still pretty good. And the Vikings didn't score a touchdown against the Jaguars. You just can't do that. So I think the Titans are going to keep it within a touchdown, and the Vikings will win by a touchdown at the end.
Yeah, this game has like 24-20 written all over it. I think because the Vikings defense is a bend don't break sort of style defense, so they'll give up a lot of field goals, I think, and that's really what's going to keep the Titans in this game, and that's why I just don't think with the way that Vikings offense played against a bad red zone defense last week that they're going to come close to scoring a whole lot in this one, and because the Titans defense is really good. The Dolphins host the Raiders. The Dolphins, a 7-point favorite in this game. So, look, the Raiders, they've kind of just given up on the season as a whole. Miami, with Tua back, they've looked better. They're fighting to get back into the playoffs, although 3 games out right now from even 500 is not good, not optimal, especially when you're sitting, past the halfway point in the season and you're still trying to make the playoffs. I just don't think that's going to happen. But what I do think is going to happen is Miami will win this game, and they will cover. They got gutted on defense last year, but I don't think defense is really going to be needed when this Raiders offense can't fucking move the ball against a fucking team of middle schoolers.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. The Raiders have all but waved the white flag for this one. It's kind of embarrassing at this point, you know. You have a stud on your defense in Max Crosby who's devoting himself to this franchise and saying, I'm staying here despite all the struggles. And trade deadline comes by and nothing really happens. Nothing really comes of it. And, I mean, at this point, what do you really want to do? You know, like, you get rid of one of your best weapons to New York, and he's not really contributing to that. So now here we are. At the end of the day, Miami with Tua is playing. They're playing better and they're competent, and they are capable of getting wins. So I'm going to take Miami to win. I don't know if they cover that 7 though.
I just think the Dolphins have enough offensive firepower to be able to cover it, and that's kind of just really my only explanation there. Both these defenses blow, but I think the bigger problem here for Las Vegas is just the fact that they don't have a fucking offense, and Miami at least somewhat does. The Bears host the Packers. The Packers, a 5.5-point favorite in this game. Look, the Bears have been getting embarrassed the last couple weeks. I mean, they should have beat Washington. Nope. They couldn't even fucking score against the Patriots. They've just looked awful. Caleb Williams has reverted to his week 1 through week 3 self, and I don't think that's going to change. This Green Bay defense is really, really good. They're not a top 5 defense, but they're definitely in that top half of the league. And this offense for Green Bay, we know it's good. When everything's clicking, this offense is really damn good. The Bears defense has kind of lacked also the last couple weeks. I mean, again, this defense let the fucking Patriots score 19 on them. I just don't have faith in them in this game. I'm going to take the Packers to win and cover that 5.5. I hate doing that with the Devil's number, but it's just one of those matchups where it's just like I can't trust the Bears anymore. Just I could, if you would have asked if this game was played 4 weeks ago, I would have taken the Bears in this one, but no.
Yeah, you said it. After last week, I can't trust the Bears or their defense anymore. Give me the Packers to win and cover. I think the Packers are going to come out of the bye with a vengeance. They're pissed that they lost to the Lions, and they went into the bye after it. The Bears have the unfortunate happening of they're next on the schedule. This is not going to be a pretty one for Chicago at all. They're going to have back-to-back losses at home, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think it's gonna be an ugly, ugly loss for the Bears, and I also predict Caleb Williams will now go 4 games in a row without throwing a single touchdown. The Broncos host the Falcons. The Broncos a 2-point favorite in this one, which is kind of surprising to me because I don't think the Broncos are really all that good. But I think last week kind of showed that the Falcons aren't all that good either because they lost to the Saints of all teams. I'm going to take Atlanta to win. I have a little bit more faith in that offense than I do the Broncos offense, and a little bit, like, very, very, marginal more faith in that defense for Atlanta as well over this Broncos defense. Although, they did hold Kansas City to only 16 points last week, but Kansas City's offense is pretty fucking bad this year. So, yeah, give me the Falcons to win in an upset win here.
See, I'm going to take Denver to win because of their defense. I think that defense is going to do just enough for them to win this one, and Bo Nix is going to do enough with Cortland Sutton and the rest of that ragtag crew. So I'm going to take Denver to win this one by a field goal, so they'll cover that too.
The Niners host the Seahawks. The Niners, a 6.5-point favorite in this game. Christian McCaffrey's back. He didn't look all too great last week, but I think a lot of that is just the fact that he's, it was his first game back, so he didn't, look too comfortable. He's kind of not in the best shape right now because he has been resting those ankles all year so far. So not able to do a whole lot of working out, especially at least on his lower half of his body. So, and that includes cardio work. So, but look, the Seahawks offense is not really that good. Neither is their defense by any means. I don't really trust the Niners defense to. Well, no, let me rephrase that. I trust their defense to get, to do enough. And I mean, Geno Smith is always good for at least one interception a game. It's just, can this Niners offense actually do something this week? And I think if you get Christian McCaffrey going and he looks good, you're gonna win and cover this one. I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that though. So I'm gonna take the Niners to win. They just don't cover that 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, this is the position the Niners want to be in right after the bye. You get Christian McCaffrey back, you win a game, you're on the plus side of 500 for the first time in what seems like forever now, and you have a chance against a divisional opponent to really start to gain ground back against Arizona. If I'm not mistaken, they beat Seattle earlier in the year, so they would have 2 games on them. Yeah, they did beat Seattle earlier in the year. So that's a good thing to have for the 49ers. And like you said, Seattle hasn't been right. they're we were making fun of them because since they played the Lions, they lost to the Giants and the Niners, and then they ended up beating the Falcons, but then they went right back to losing again, losing by 21 to the Bills, and then losing to the Rams. So this is not a Seahawks team that is playing good ball in any respects right now recently. So I'm going to take the Niners to win and cover because they got CMC back. I think they're going to start incorporating him a little more, and I think he's going to be the difference, and he's going to get that score on the ground that he didn't get last week. That allows San Francisco to cover.
The Bills host the Chiefs, and this game is what should either be Monday night or uh, Sunday night football, but it's not. It's just one of the 4:30 games. The Bills hosting Chiefs. The Bills a 2-point favorite in this game. This game opened up at Buffalo minus 3.5. Now it's moved down to Buffalo -2. I think part of that is just because everyone's just betting against the Chiefs to finally lose a game, and so Vegas is trying to just hedge their bets here. Look, this Bills defense is not that good, but neither's this Chiefs offense. But the Bills offense is pretty good. That said, Chiefs defense is really damn good. I think though, this is the week Chiefs finally lose. Josh Allen stays undefeated in the regular season against Mahomes. Buffalo wins and covers that too. I just the way the Chiefs have been playing, especially after last week, it's just like, man, the Bills defense is better than that Broncos defense. I think their offense is going to be able to do just enough to beat this Chiefs team. I just don't have faith. I just don't have faith right now with the way this Chiefs team is playing, especially offensively, to get the job done here.
Yeah, I mean, you said it best. This is just a 4:30 game, and when it should have realistically be the Monday night game, because why the fuck is Houston Dallas the Monday night game? Regardless, I also believe this is the week Kansas City finally falls. Buffalo is one of the best teams they've played all year. And granted, they played uh, Baltimore week one. Baltimore wasn't Baltimore week one. And they lost by a literal toe against Baltimore. And they've had a lot of close calls against lesser teams. And now, I mean, they only scored 16 points against the Broncos and needed a blocked field goal to stop them from losing their first game of the season. Buffalo is a good offense. They really are. And I think they're going to be like the Ravens, where they're going to be either within a foot of winning this game or they are going to win this game. And I'm going to take Buffalo to win this one by a field goal. Because, again, they have a hell of a kicker, and he's capable of kicking 60-yard field goals to walk them off. So I think Buffalo will do it.
Yeah, I think Buffalo will, and just as long as their line on that field goal unit doesn't just take a nap when the ball is snapped, they won't get a blocked field goal, and the Bills will win the game. The Chargers Sunday night host the Bengals. The Chargers a 1.5-point favorite in this game. Look, the Chargers are playing out of their mind. They're playing well above what anyone expected with this roster. Herbert doesn't have a lot of weapons to throw to, but he's fucking making it work. And the run game has been absolutely phenomenal for the Chargers. They also have the best defense in the league right now. The Bengals offense struggling, not necessarily struggling, but just not able to do enough. And also this Bengals defense blows. This Bengals defense is awful. I'm taking the Chargers to win. They cover that 1.5. I think they win this one by a touchdown, to be honest with you. I just think, while the Bengals, they have to try to outscore everyone, and you're not going to do that against this Chargers defense.
Yeah, you said it. The Bengals are playing like the Lions have had to play uh, when they, don't have defenses, specifically, the Matthew Stafford era, or part of it, because they did have some good defenses then, but they have to try and outscore you, and you have to have one of the best offenses in the league, and they have some good offensive players, but I don't know if T. Higgins is going to play in this game or not. And the Chargers defense, I believe, is still the highest, or has allowed the lowest amount of points this season. So I'm looking at that Chargers defense to be the difference maker, and I do think that LA wins this one and covers that 1.5.
I think it's just the fact that the Chargers overall have a better team. I mean, it's you know both of Charger it's the Chargers' strengths versus the weaknesses of the Bengals. I mean, the Chargers' offense is good. It's not great, but the Bengals' defense blows, and then the Bengals, their offense, while it's good, it's not great, but the Chargers' defense is elite. So I mean, like, that's gonna make a huge difference, I think. And also, you know, uh, I kind of use a comparison from last year is the Bengals this year are kind of like USC last year, where they had to outscore everyone to win games. If they didn't outscore, or if they didn't put up 50 points, they weren't going to win those games. And it's kind of the Bengals this year. Most games they have to put up 30 or more to win games, because their defense is going to let up 30 points at least. And that's kind of been the theme all year. And this Chargers offense is very capable of doing that. Uh, and so yeah, it just doesn't make any sense at all to take the Bengals in this game. It just logically does not make any sense. And then you touched on it. This game is the Monday night game, and it really shouldn't be. But the Bills Chiefs game should be it. But we got the Cowboys hosting the Texans. The Texans, a 7.5 point favorite in this game. Jerry Jones, I don't think you're gonna win a game in Jerry World this year. You just got embarrassed by Philly, and I think this Texans team, while it's not as offensively talented as Philly, it defensively sure as fuck is. Uh, I'm taking the Texans to win. I don't think they cover that 7.5 though. I think this game, just because it is a in-state rivalry between these two teams, although they aren't a division or a conference rival with each other at all, there's still a lot of hatred between these two teams. So I think it's going to be a little bit closer here. But actually, you know what? Fuck that. No, I forgot. Dak isn't playing. So yeah, give me Houston to win and cover. Yeah, you're not doing anything with Cooper Rush or Trey Lance for that matter. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, you said it. Dak Prescott is not in this game, and the Cowboys' offense has been pretty defunct all year, even with Dak Prescott. So I'm going to take the Texans to win and cover.
All right, so that's going to wrap us up here for the NFL. We're going to head on over now to the college football top 25. Starting off here Saturday, big noon kickoff again, because Ohio State can only play noon games apparently. But you got Northwestern hosting number 2 Ohio State. This game is in Wrigley Field, by the way. I saw some pictures of the field. Field goals and extra points are going to go into the stands. Those uprights are literally in the fucking stands. That's how close it is there. But look, this is, to me, this is kind of a look ahead spot for Ohio State. Northwestern blows. I'm taking Ohio State to win. I don't think they cover that 29 though. I think because again, this is just a look ahead spot. They're not focused on Northwestern. They're looking at Indiana next week. And so yeah, I think you'll see like a 35-7 final score, something like that. They just barely miss out on covering it, because again, this is an Ohio State team that's just it's the definition of a look ahead spot here, because again, Northwestern blows and you have a good team coming into town next week.
Yeah, you said it. It's a look ahead week for Ohio State, but that's also a trap. So I'm not going to take Northwestern to win this game by any means, but I do not think Ohio State covers because of that. I think they're going to be too focused on, they've got daunting an undefeated Indiana on the schedule. It's their second undefeated team they've played this year. They want to try and beat that one. They cannot allow that to trip them up in this one. But I will, like I said, I'm taking Ohio State to win, but they do not cover.
Arkansas hosts number 3 Texas. Texas a 12-point favorite in this game. Look, we've seen Arkansas hang in with really good teams this year. And while Texas, they have that loss to Georgia, they're still one of the best teams in the country. I think Arkansas is going to play this one close. I am going to take Texas to win. They just don't cover that 12. Like I said, this Texas team is really, really good, but this Arkansas team, they just hang in with you. Whether you lose or win with them, they hang with you the entire game. So give me Texas to win. They just don't cover.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. Arkansas knows how to hang with some of these teams. And I mean, we've started to see now that with LSU and Ole Miss that they're starting to lose their grip on hanging with these ranked teams. But end of the day, Texas is a different beast than LSU and Ole Miss, so I'm going to take Texas to win. I'm not sure they cover that 12, but I could see them winning by up to 14. But I'm gonna say that they don't cover, but I won't be shocked if they do.
Yeah, I see this as a 10-point win for Texas personally, but at the same time, I think if they do cover it, it's going to be by 14. I don't see anything more than that. Number 17, Colorado hosts Utah. Colorado, an 11-point favorite in this game. This one's the actual big noon kickoff because, it's Colorado and it's ranked, so Joel Klatt has to be there for big noon. But Colorado's been exceeding expectations this year. I mean, 7-2. No one really expected them to be 7-2 at this point this year, but they're playing well above expected. Utah, though, obviously another year where they're just banged the fuck up, and they just can't fucking seem to have a healthy season the last 2 years now. They're just not good because they have so many backup players in so many different spots. I'm going to take Colorado to win. I think they're also going to cover. Yes, Utah played close with BYU last week, and I think BYU is a fraudulent team, but it's a rivalry game, so I think that partly played into why Utah was even in that game. This one's not really a rivalry. Colorado's, again, like I said, playing super well. I'm taking Colorado to win and cover.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, this is a shock from this Colorado team, and Utah yet again is without Cam Rising at the end of the day. So I'm just not really confident that they can win this game. So I'm going to take Colorado to win and cover.
Pitt hosts number 20 Clemson. Clemson, an 11.5-point favorite in this game. Look, both these teams really haven't played anyone this year. I mean, Clemson's best win wasn't even a win. It was their loss to Georgia. Because, I mean, yeah, you might look at the NC State game earlier this year, but as we know, NC State's been out with a lot of fucking injuries and just has not been playing super, super well either. So that kind of hurt their entire season. So, while Clemson's offense has been playing well, again, they haven't really played anyone. Pitt, we found out really quickly, they're frauds. This is the fraud bowl right here. I'm taking Clemson to win. They just don't cover that 11.5. This is just kind of one of those spots where it's just like, yeah, Clemson should win this game. They should blow out Pitt because Pitt's a fraud. But at the same time, Clemson also really hasn't played anyone. So how can we really gauge where they're at? So yeah, just give me Clemson to win. They just don't cover.
Yeah, I don't know. This is a game for Clemson where you need to win it. Miami just lost their first game, and SMU has a loss on the schedule. But at the end of the day, if you want to stay competitive in the ACC and potentially in the playoff race, you cannot suffer your second ACC loss and your third overall loss. So I'm going to take Clemson to win this one. They do not cover, but if Pitt wins this one, Clemson, your playoff hopes and ACC championship game hopes are all but gone.
Yeah, I think either way, whoever loses this game, they're not going to fucking make the playoffs. I mean, a three-loss ACC team is not going to make the playoffs over even a three-loss Big Ten team. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Navy hosts number 25 Tulane. Tulane, a 7-point favorite in this game. Tulane has been one of those teams, and we preview. Well, we didn't really preview it, but we did talk about some of the Group of Five teams that we when we did the season preview for college football. We talked about obviously Boise State, but Tulane was one of those teams we brought up saying that they could make the playoffs this year. They are playing very, very well lately. Navy, obviously, they started off the season, undefeated. Then they lost to Notre Dame. They became unranked. Now they're sitting 7-2. Tulane's sitting 8-2 right now. They're playing some of the best football they have all year. They started off the season a little slow, especially offensively. They have a really, really fucking good quarterback. A really good quarterback. He's a freshman too, which is kind of surprising. He beat out a guy who was like one of the top 5 rookie QBs, I believe, in 2023's recruiting class. So that's quite impressive to do that. But Navy's also a really good team. But I like Tulane a lot in this game. It is a road game, but it doesn't matter. Give me Tulane to win and cover this one.
Yeah, you said it. Tulane. This is a game of momentum right now. Tulane is playing really, really good ball right now. And Navy, they just beat South Florida 28-7, but their past 2 games before that, they lost 2 straight, and one of that was to a 3-6 Rice team. So I'm not really confident in Navy anymore. They're still a really good team, but at the end of the day, it's do or die by the run game for Navy, and it's I don't think they're gonna be able to get it going as well as they have in the past against some of these other opponents, and I think Tulane's gonna end up winning this one.
Yeah, I think for Tulane, this is a hey, I can make it to the AAC championship game with a win this week, and that's all you can really ask for from them. They're gunning for that Group of 5 spot. I still don't think they're in over a Boise State, especially a one-loss Boise State, when Tulane already has 2 losses on the year. But they're looking down at or looking up, I guess technically at Army on that schedule, saying, hey, we want to face those guys in the AAC and show them who's really boss here. Number 10, Alabama hosts Mercer. Mercer's a 9-1 FCS team, but it doesn't really matter. This is Cupcake Week for most of the SEC. Well, not most of, but a good chunk of the SEC. Bama, I mean, Milroe looked a lot better after that bye week. He looks way more confident, way better running. I mean, obviously, he rushed for damn near 200 yards and 4 touchdowns last week. He looks healthy again. Bama, I'm not even seeing a spread for this game, at least on ESPN, but ESPN has them as a 99% favorite. Let's just say Bama minus 21.5. I'm still taking the over. Give me Bama to win this one in a blowout.
Yeah, you said it. It's Cupcake Week, and Mercer, you might be 9-1, but you're 9-1 in the FCS.
Right. There's 9-1, and then there's FCS 9-1. Okay, so like there's a difference.
Yeah, give me Alabama to win in a rout. This isn't close.
Purdue hosts number 4 Penn State. Penn State, a 28.5-point favorite. Purdue blows. They should be in the MAC. They are that bad. And it's not getting any better either. Penn State, we know, isn't really all too great, but Purdue is just so bad. I have to take Penn State to win. I don't know if they cover that 28.5 though. I want to say yes, but then again, my brain's like, well, James Franklin's the coach, so they're not going to cover. So, yeah, give me Penn State to win. They just don't cover that 28.5.
The only saving grace for Purdue is that they're not Kent State. Give me Penn State to win and cover.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they should be in the MAC. They genuinely should be in the MAC. Um, yeah, we'll leave it at that. Number 8, Notre Dame hosts Virginia. Notre Dame, a what was that? Damn it, where's that number at? Yeah, Notre Dame, a 23.5 point favorite in this game. Virginia, obviously, coming off a nice win over, at the time, ranked Pitt team, who they just exposed them as frauds. Notre Dame, though, has been playing phenomenal, especially since that loss to NIU, which, again, does not look good at all on the record. But if Notre Dame wins out, it's not going to matter. While Virginia's good-ish, they're not great. Give me Notre Dame to win and cover this one. I think just the way that offense is playing, and their defense is so good, but they also haven't played a lot of good offenses either. So keep that in check. But Virginia's offense isn't really all that great. So, yeah, give me Notre Dame to win and cover.
Yeah, I mean, Virginia coming off, I believe they won last week.
Yeah, they did beat,
They beat Pitt.
number 18 Pitt last week.
Yeah, and outside of a close loss to Clemson and Louisville, I'm not really confident in a lot of their schedule. So yeah, give me Notre Dame to win. I think they have a potential to cover that 23.5. I just don't think they win by 24. So I'll take Notre Dame to win. They don't cover.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think it's going to be right around a 23, 24 point win for Notre Dame here. So like, part of me wants to say they won't cover. So part of it's right. That number's so good. I think like Vegas nailed that number there. Number 14, SMU hosts Boston College. SMU, a 19.5 point favorite. SMU has been playing incredible. They exposed Pitt as the frauds that they are, the frauds that I knew they were, and, whatever. But Boston College, while they started off the season pretty hot, they were ranked at one point in the year. They're 5-4 now. SMU's playing great ball. Boston College, not so much. Give me SMU to win. Give me SMU to cover as well. They've been really, really good against the spread this year, so I have to take them to cover.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. SMU really put it to Pitt to retain their spot atop the ACC standings right now, especially with Miami falling. Uh, like you said, Boston College started off the season ranked. I believe it was following that win against Michigan State was when they were ranked, but that's not really a good, you know, loss or game for that Boston College team because Michigan State's not good. They played Missouri pretty close early in the season. They lost by 6, but other than that, I'm not really confident in how they're playing. So I'm gonna take SMU to win, and they're gonna cover.
Stanford hosts number 19 Louisville. Louisville, a 20.5 point favorite in this game. Louisville's kind of had an up and down season. They're 6-3 now. They were in the rankings, then were out. Now they're back in the rankings after some really nice wins over the last few weeks, especially beating Clemson last week. Stanford, they are just god awful. They can't stop anything. They can't do anything offensively. They just look terrible this year, and they have for quite a few years. I mean, yeah. Enough said about that. Go back to the Pac-12, Stanford. How about that? Give me Louisville to win and cover. I mean, Louisville's been playing really, really well lately, and I just think that momentum's going to continue for them. And, you're playing a really weak opponent that you should beat by at least 3 scores here. So, yeah, Louisville's to win and cover.
I don't think Stanford has been good since Christian McCaffrey played at Stanford. I'm going to take Louisville to win and cover.
Florida hosts number 22 LSU. LSU just a 3.5 point favorite in this game. I've been doing some digging on this game. Why is this so low? And I can't come up with the actual reason as to why LSU's only a 3.5 point favorite here. I'm going to take Florida to get the upset win here over LSU. I just don't think that offense for LSU is as good as I thought it was to start the year. And Florida's been surprising me this year. They have some wins that I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't expect you to win that game. And they made Georgia struggle. Um, and I think that Georgia team's a hell of a lot better than this LSU team, who's also coming off a loss. I'm going to take Florida to get the upset win here over LSU. And again, it's also LSU on the road, who has not been that great on the road this year.
Yeah, you said it. LSU is coming off with two pretty bad losses. Granted, they're the two ranked SEC teams, but they're pretty bad. I mean, you just got smoked by Alabama. It was not close. I'm not gonna take Florida to win. I'm not gonna take LSU to cover either. This is gonna be a very close game. I won't be shocked if Florida wins, but would be shocked if LSU won in a blowout. I'm not confident in this team to win comfortably against, halfway decent SEC teams. So give me LSU to win. They do not cover.
Number 21 South Carolina hosts number 23 Missouri. South Carolina a 14-point favorite in this game. Look, South Carolina has done incredible this year. Like they genuinely have. They have some nice ranked wins on their schedule, and it's nice to finally see them in the rankings this year. Obviously, the win over Texas A&M is huge. They did lose to Alabama, but they only lost by 2 points there. They did get blown out by Ole Miss, but, it is what it is with that. They played very, very close with LSU as well. Ultimately lost that game, but, they've been still playing really, really well. A nice blowout win over Oklahoma, blowout win over Vanderbilt last week. I like South Carolina a lot this year. Mizzou struggled offensively, especially. The defense has been all right, but kind of what I expected with them. But the offense has surprised me this year. The offense is just miserable. Give me South Carolina to win. I don't think they cover that 14. I think that's asking a little bit too much against a ranked opponent. Although I could see it happening. I think South Carolina wins by 2 scores. They just don't cover that 14.
Yeah, I'm with you. South Carolina has been playing very well, and they might not have a better record than Missouri right now, but they very well could only have one loss on this season. They lost to Alabama by 2 points.
They
lost
gonna.
to LSU by 3 points.
South Carolina's gonna even the record. I think between the two this week.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. So I think South Carolina is the better team out of these two, and they've played like it. Like I said, combined 5 points in two of their losses to LSU and Alabama, leaving their only bad loss to Ole Miss, who is, competing for the SEC right now. And they lost 27-3 in that one. So South Carolina has very good losses on their schedule outside of Ole Miss. And literally they're a field goal or more away from winning two of them. So that South Carolina team can compete in the SEC. So I'm going to take them to win. They don't cover that 14, though.
San Jose State hosts number 13 Boise State. Boise State a 14.5-point favorite in this game. Look, last week Boise State struggled against a not so good Nevada team. I mean, they beat Nevada 28-21, and Nevada is a 3-8 team now after that game. San Jose State's a 6-3 team this year, and they've been playing pretty good ball. Boise State, their biggest flaw is the quarterback position. I think Madsen's not the greatest, but he's not terrible either. But That's their biggest flaw. Defensively, they haven't looked really good the last couple weeks. I think San Jose State's going to play this one close. Give me Boise State to win. They just don't cover that 14.5. I think this is going to be like another, one touchdown win for Boise State.
Yeah, you said it. They played it way too close with Nevada last week, and I think partially that has to go on the play of Madsen, their quarterback. At the same time, Ashton Genty did lose a fumble in that game, so you want him to clean that up. But he's going to carry your offense anyway. But I'm with you. I'm going to take Boise State to win. I just don't think they hit that 14.5 to cover.
Number 16, Kansas State hosts Arizona State. Kansas State a 7.5 point favorite in this game. Kansas State's fighting for their lives. They especially now with Iowa State losing their last two games, they're fighting still to get into the Big 12 championship. They need Colorado to lose again. They do play each other in a couple weeks, or maybe it's next week. I don't know exactly, but Arizona State's also been playing way better than I think any of us expected. I think we had them at like a 5 point or 5 game or 5 win team this year when we did the Big 12 preview. We're not expecting them to be this good this year. But I think Kansas State is a slightly better team here, especially defensively. Just looking at the metrics, I do like this Kansas State's defense just a slight bit more. Offensively, I'd call it a draw. So give me Kansas State to win. They don't cover that 7.5.
Yeah, you said it. Kansas State. Their prayers have been answered. Iowa State has dropped 2 games to tie them, but that has also allowed Colorado to get into the picture as well. But behind undefeated BYU, there are 4 teams that are at 7-2 in the Big 12. It's Arizona State, Kansas State, Iowa State, and Colorado. And obviously Colorado has the edge at 5-1 in conference, the other 3 being 4-2. It's close. Right now, you have one clear-cut competitor in the Big 12 championship, and that's BYU. It's a crapshoot from then on. So you could have some chaos at the end of the year. I think Kansas State is going to win this one, but at the end of the day, I don't know if Arizona State is going to be able to sit there and be like, we could upset them. At the same time, like when I'm looking at their schedule, they've put up points in certain scenarios, but they've also given up a lot. They beat Texas State by 3 points. They gave up 31 to Kansas. They gave up 31 to UCF. It's a lot of points they're giving up. They gave up 23 to Mississippi State. So I'm going to take Kansas State to win. They don't cover that 7.5, though. I think they win by a touchdown at most.
This next game, I think, is going to be one of the most underrated games going on this weekend because, you have the likes of Georgia versus Tennessee and South Carolina and Missouri going on. But I think this game might be the most underrated game of the weekend. Wisconsin hosting number 1 Oregon, Badger Stadium at night. Oregon getting their first taste of Big Ten football at night on the road in a traditional Big Ten at a traditional Big Ten school. Oh boy, I think this game is going to be nuts. Badger Stadium at night with that jump around, man. That's a tough environment to play in. I think Oregon is going to win this game. They're a 14-point favorite in this game. Wisconsin's going to keep this one as close as possible. I predict an Oregon win by a touchdown at the very, very most in this one. I think Oregon's going to really get a taste of what it's like to play Big Ten football at night. And again, Badger Stadium at night is a very tough environment to play in because, again, the crowd gets into that game. Oregon, you better fucking hold on to your ass, man, because Wisconsin will come after you.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily as high on this game as you are, but I think it could end up being a trap game for Oregon. I really do. Like you said, it's not a pretty place to play in Madison, Wisconsin at night. It's rough. I mean, right now it's looking like the start of the game is going to be 50 degrees. It only gets colder from there. So Oregon, you have to be prepared to play not only with the crowd, you have to start preparing for the colder weather. And in Big Ten, that's one of the main things you have is when the weather starts to get cold. That's your home field advantage, getting that much better. I'm gonna take Oregon to win this one, but like you said, Wisconsin keeps this one close. I don't think they cover that 14.
Yeah, I mean, look, Wisconsin got blown out last week by Iowa, but they played somewhat close with Penn State, and they played somewhat close with U. Although that USC score doesn't really show it. Wisconsin was really, really in that game the entire time. And then they got blown out by Bama earlier on in the year. They don't have any true marquee wins this year. They are a 5-4 team, but I just think Badger Stadium at night, man, it's a different place than Badger Stadium during the day. It really, really is. And I think Oregon's gonna learn. Oregon's gonna learn real fast what it's like to play in a Big Ten stadium on the road at night. Number 12, Georgia hosts number 7, Tennessee. This game was flexed out to the 7:30 spot. It was scheduled originally for like a 3:30 game, but you can't put this game at 3:30. Come on now. Georgia, a 9.5 point favorite in this game. I think this game is all going to depend on what Carson Beck shows up. Is it the good Carson Beck or the really awful, terrible, shit my pants Carson Beck? If it's that, you got to go with Tennessee. If it's the good Carson Beck, where he's not throwing it, 50 times to an opponent's face, they're going to win this game. Tennessee is a very, very slow offense in the first half, especially. The second half is where they score all their points. I'm going to take Georgia to win. I don't think they cover, though. This is going to be a hell of a matchup. Obviously, I think everyone's going to be watching it. I'm going to be flipping back between this and the Wisconsin game, Wisconsin-Oregon game. But this is just the game depends on how Carson Beck plays. If he's playing bad, Tennessee's going to blow the doors off of Georgia. But if he shows up and he's not playing bad, if he plays like he did against Clemson, yeah, Georgia's going to win this game. But either way, Georgia's not going to get ahead by 9.5 at any point.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the preview stuff for this game, and it looks like Georgia's going to be without Trevor Etienne in this one.
Ooh, ooh. I still think that help. I still think it depends on Carson Beck, but that does not help.
It also doesn't help that Nico Iamaleava is also questionable for Tennessee. Both of these offenses could be without a major piece. That said, this is a road game for Tennessee. Georgia hasn't been playing too great as of late, but they have shown that they can compete with, at the time, the number one team in the country in Texas. But also they've shown that they can lose to teams that they could also beat by losing to Alabama, who is also not all we thought that they could be. So the SEC this year is kind of chaotic all across the board. I'm going to take Tennessee to win this one if their starting quarterback is in. If he's not, I'm going to take Georgia to win. They just don't cover.
Like I said, I still think it's going to depend on if Carson Beck plays well or not, or what version of Carson Beck that shows up to this game. However, if Tennessee's down to their backup QB, Georgia's going to win no matter what Carson Beck shows up. Number 15, Texas A&M hosts New Mexico State. Texas A&M a 39-point favorite in this game. Look, New Mexico State is a 2-7 team. They blow. Texas A&M, they're frauds, but they're not going to even let this one get close. And Kyle Field's still one of the toughest places to play in college football, and it's a night game there. Give me Texas A&M to win. Give me Texas A&M to cover that 39, man.
Yeah, you said it. Texas A&M is not, playing the greatest this year. They're overrated, but New Mexico State is not a good team by any means. I mean, looking at the schedule, they lost 30 to 24 to Liberty. They lost 48 nothing to Fresno State. They lost 31 to 11 to Sam Houston. Like, who the fuck is Sam Houston? They
Wait,
lost
wait, wait,
50 to
wait, wait, wait,
40.
wait. They lost to who?
Sam Houston.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, and then 50 to 40 to New Mexico. And then followed that up with a 54 to 13 loss to Jacksonville State. Like,
Who the fuck is that guy?
FIU, like they lost 34 to 13 to them.
Fucking embarrassing!
Western Kentucky, you lost 41 to 28. Like, give me Texas A&M to win and cover. New Mexico State is just straight basura.
Texas A&M might hit the total at 54.5 by themselves. So, that's how bad New Mexico State is defensively, man. Texas A&M might hit that. They might hit the over on that 54.5 by themselves. New Mexico hosts number 18 Washington State. Washington State's been really fucking good this year. They have been playing really well. I mean, yes, they are playing Mountain West teams, but they're still playing very, very well. They're really good against the spread this year. New Mexico, they're a 4-6 team. They're a lot better than New Mexico State. I'll give them that, but they're not that much better. Give me Washington State to win and cover that 10. I think that's a pretty easy number for them to hit. And again, they're really good against the spread this year, so you got to take them.
Yeah, you said it. They're better than New Mexico State, but only by 10 points, as their head-to-head win said. So give me Washington State to win and cover that 10 points.
And then lastly, number 6, BYU hosts Kansas. BYU just a 2.5-point favorite in this game. And, first of all, I don't believe really a whole lot in BYU. Because this Kansas team isn't all that good, though. I mean, but they did just beat a number 17 Iowa State last week. They almost beat number 16 Kansas State the week before that. And then, yeah, they've just been kind of ass, really, all the rest of the year, outside of a few, wins against, or a win over Houston. But other than that, they lost to TCU this year. They're pretty fucking bad. Look, BYU should have lost to Utah last week, and the fact that you're only a 2.5-point favorite at home against a 3-6 Kansas team, I don't like that number. I'm taking Kansas to get the upset win in this game. I don't trust BYU in this spot. Again, you're a 2.5-point favorite at home against a team that is 3-6. That shouldn't be like that when you're a 9-0 team. Something's up. BYU's on fraud watch, and this is the game that's going to really expose that.
Yeah, I mean, you said it. It's kind of fishy that BYU is only a 2.5-point favorite at home as an undefeated team. Like, either Kansas isn't as bad as their record indicates, or BYU isn't as good as their record indicates. And I think it's a case of BYU isn't as good as their record indicates. But I'm going to take BYU to win this one. I don't think they cover that 2.5. I think they walk it off with the field goal, but they win by 1.
Yeah, so that is going to do it for us. Just a quick note here. McDavid has done it. He scored a goal in the second period. So McDavid, fastest player ever to 1,000 points. Congratulations to him on that. That's just incredible. Yeah, so that's gonna do it for us. Tuesday, obviously, we'll go over all these games that we just previewed for you. And if anything comes up in any of the other sports that's noteworthy of talking about, we'll talk about it. Rate, review, subscribe, help us out. Let us know what you guys want to see more of course. Check out our YouTube page, The Andrew and Ian Show. Follow us on Twitter at The Andrew and Ian Show. We're going to keep trying to grow that following there as well. Thank you guys again so much for listening, and we will see you guys on Tuesday.